Real Madrid games under Xabi Alonso have opened up a whole new level of content we never thought existed. Now when you watch a Real Madrid match, after it's over, people start arguing, some trash talking, some praising, for the same reasons, and even the opposite ones. Like nowadays someone might say, Real Madrid got lucky winning that, and you'd be like, yeah, you're right. Then someone else says, no, Real Madrid was unlucky to win today, and you'd agree again. Then a third person says, the referee was really harsh on them, and you'd be like, yeah, you're right. Then some fourth person will say, today the referee was totally biased towards Real Madrid, like they had him in their pocket before the match. And they'll keep going on and on about stuff that doesn't make sense. What are you gonna say? Yeah, you're right too? No, not just because you want to spare people's feelings or avoid conflict. All the stuff I mentioned makes sense once you actually watch the game. Honestly, that match was like a full-on movie from Real Madrid's side against Marseille. And I'm sure that even though the score was close, the Marseille coach won't come out after the game saying anything positive about his team. He'll definitely have some negative notes. Way more than usual, there might be more negative notes than matches lost 4-0 or 5-0 in the English league from previous experiences. Yeah, we missed the biggest match between Juventus and Borussia Dortmund that already ended, but there was still some excitement and stuff to talk about with Marseille and Real Madrid. Since you got the video, what are you gonna do? Seriously, drop a like, hit that like button hard right now. And if you're not subscribed to the channel, go ahead, subscribe and turn on the notifications. Let's get started with a strange and amazing match. But you know, I always feel like with everyone's attention span being so short these days and how hard it is to focus, people don't even remember the start of the match by the time it ends. Like at the end, people will be talking about the 10 players, Marseille, what happened back and forth, all that stuff. But those same people might have totally forgotten what went down in the first 15 minutes, the first 10 minutes, or even the first 5. What minutes? The first 3 minutes? Actually, Real Madrid took over Marseille in the first quarter of an hour. They really got rolling. Come on, man. Real Madrid was dominating Bayern Munich back then, under Pep Guardiola in 2009 with Barcelona. Real Madrid was crazy on the pitch in the first 10 to 15 minutes. That's why I'm telling you from the start, honestly and clearly, that Serbia is going to have a lot of negative things to say about his team after the match ends. Why? Because Marseille's team is made up of two groups. One group of players who were world-class back in 2018, and another group of players that, well, when you look at them in Google and search about best players in the English Premier League 2020, you'll find a list of players from that year like Pierre-Emile Højbjerg, Mason Greenwood, Renaud Burmrick, and Aubameyang. It's a group of some of the top players around 2018, including guys like Jeffrey Kondogbia and Benjamin Pavard. It feels like the person putting the list together wanted to keep up with the times, like using a Lumia phone with an iPhone X screen, mixing things up. There's a cool blend happening in the Marseille team that you'd want to watch and follow. But what's weird is, like I said, people will keep multiplying what happened at the start, and will remember what happened in the end, those who watched it. In the first 15 minutes of the match, how did you feel? Whether you're a Real Madrid fan or not, whether you love them or hate them, drop a comment and tell me, during that first quarter of an hour watching Real Madrid, what was going through your mind? Honestly, if you support Real Madrid, didn't you feel proud? Didn't you feel happy? Didn't you feel like you have a solid team? Didn't you feel like there's a system on the pitch? Didn't you feel like the team knows exactly what they're doing, creating danger and being one of the fiercest teams out there? Didn't you feel like you were watching a team that's genuinely happy and enjoying their performance even if they couldn't score goals? Between Ruli's saves, the ball hitting the crossbar, and Kylian Mbappe's unlucky moments, like that back pass going just wide, there were so many close calls. Deep down, if you're a Real Madrid fan, you weren't happy watching the team. Franco Mastantuono. I really like Xabi Alonso's confidence in this Franco, of course, for a lot of reasons, but you know what the most important reason is? The main reason is that whenever the kid feels comfortable and takes his time on the field, he gives you a better performance without rushing. At first he was worried about being young, like only 17 years old, but today, the guy holds the record as the second youngest Argentine to play in the Champions League, right after the greatest legend, Lionel Messi with Barcelona. Today, Franco Mastantuono, that's the general, I'm officially giving him that title. General Franco, I'm just waiting for him to score his first goal. I'm holding back so that it feels like it's really General Franco. Why? Because this kid has the talent, but if he can just get his foot right, like tanks rolling out of his foot, greatness coming out, he's got amazing skill, seriously top-notch. He's a major presence on the field, way more than just good. both with his teammates and against opponents. On the other hand, in terms of performance, he's delivering an incredible level of play, especially compared to others his age. And why is that? Because he's got a smart coach. This coach is giving the kid full chances, not rushing him, not pushing him too hard. The kid feels like he's completely off the radar. He comes in for the opening match of the Champions League and starts as a starter, just like he did in the previous opening match. He decided to start with Rudrigo on the left side. Some people might talk about tension between Vinicius and the coach, and it's clear that this is a theme we'll keep seeing until the end of the season. Whenever Rudrigo sits out a match, there's said to be tension between him and the coach. If Vinicius sits out, then there's no tension. Xabi Alonso is trying to do something that his predecessors should have done. What is it? Your spot in the squad isn't guaranteed just based on your performance. That's something that definitely didn't happen back in Carlo Ancelotti's days. Back then, it was like a fantasy. You knew there were players who had their places secured. What does that mean? If Vinicius played badly, Rodrigo'd sit. If Mbappe played badly, Rodrigo'd sit on the bench. If Bellingham played badly, Rodrigo'd sit on the bench. Honestly, even if your aunt came all the way from the countryside, played badly, Rodrigo'd still sit on the bench. Rodrigo now is in a different mindset. What's the different mindset? It's that your place on the field depends solely on your performance. If you play well, you play. If not, you don't. From my technical perspective, I don't think you deserve to start today. You won't be in the starting lineup, but from my technical point of view, I think you can still play, so you will get to play. What Real Madrid was missing was the basics, the fundamentals of how the team is managed. That's why today, when the coach started and began with Trent Alexander-Arnold, while Carvajal was playing well as a fullback, it made sense that the guy chose him because he thought Arnold would help the team more in that match. Arnold did have this one issue. Someone, a bald guy, caused him some trouble. It's clear that problem won't go away unless he decides to return to Liverpool someday. Maybe then he could get back to the Arnold we knew at Liverpool, with the skills he was losing. But aside from that, the coach decided to start Trent Alexander-Arnold because he thought he'd be more useful on the field. That was his call, and he's free to make it. These obvious decisions were missing at Real Madrid. Madrid knows which obvious thing is missing. As a team, you have one of the fastest attack line in the world. I don't think you're talking about just any young, fast, physically strong attack lines. You watch Real Madrid pressing high up the pitch, winning the ball back effortlessly. When Real Madrid conceded the first goal against Marseille, it was completely against the flow of the game. This goal was totally unexpected. Dinhausen was pushing forward with the attack, started the play normally, passed to Arda Güler who moved into space, but Güler pretty much slept on it. There's no other explanation. So Mason Greenwood said, "Come on, get up." He took it and ran with it, went inside, passed to Timothy. Timothy was able to score the first goal. When that happened, it was because of individual mistakes by the players, not because of the system. But if Real Madrid had played this match normally, they could have easily won 4-0 or 5-0. Red for Carvajal, that's a whole other story. Stuff like this really pisses me off. Why? Because Carvajal's supposed to be the team's main captain now. He's the most experienced player, the one everyone looks up to keep things in order and handle situations the right way. How do you pull moves like that? Even when you foul in the penalty area, you do it clumsily. Seriously, where's your head at? What you did with Rulli was straight-up thug behavior. Rulli gave you a classy red card, but you went over the line again. Then you went for another foul. Yeah, the hit wasn't that hard, but it was definitely there. The hit wasn't strong, true, and some refs might let it slide, but the foul was there. The ref felt there was intent to hurt in that moment, so he decided to give you a red card. Whether there was intent or not depends on the keeper's reaction and the whole situation. Kylian Mbappe scored 2 goals. But for me, I'm waiting for the moment when Franco Mastantuono scores his first goal with Real Madrid. I believe mentally, that first goal will make a huge difference for this guy. Because look, we see his skill, his speed, his good tactical discipline, but so far we haven't seen his finishing. We just don't know yet. Is this kid the type of winger who cuts inside and shoots like Anthony did at Manchester United and Real Betis? Or like their big role model, the magic man Arjen Robben, who used to cut inside and do those moves? Or is he more the kind of player with a precise touch who can deliver the perfect finish and placement? We can't really tell what kind of finishing he's best at yet, but I'm waiting to see Franco Mastantuono's first goal and what comes after that, because I'm sure once this kid scores his first goal, he'll gain crazy confidence on the field. Like I always say, in the end, this is just my personal opinion. What's important is your opinion in the comments. Please share it with us. See you next time. If you haven't seen the predictions episode yet, check it out.